Thank you. That's a lot of people. Before I start, I'd like to thank Alex Gasatoto, Ava Hernandez, and my mom for coming with me today. When you look at a person you don't know, what do you see? Do you form quick opinions about them based on their appearance, from anything like their clothes or their hairstyle? Since I've been up here, you probably already formed some about me. I mean, I'm a short, blonde, white teenage boy. But it's okay, I know what I look like. I'm here to challenge those surface judgments you might have and share with you the real me. And through my experiences, I've found that a person's character and their heart are what matter the most. It all started on November 5th, 1999 at 4:40 a.m. in Reno, Nevada. My mom was only 15 and she was still in high school. It's crazy to think that she's a year younger than I am today when I was born. My father was 18 at the time, and instead of sticking around, he decided that leaving was best for him. He didn't take into consideration what me and my mom needed. I've only talked to him a few times over the years, and I definitely don't consider him my father. And even though she was only a teenager when my mom was born, she stepped up and she made the best life possible for the two of us. She went to a charter school, so she was able to bring me to class with her when finding a babysitter was difficult. She found a job to provide for us, and she was determined to finish high school. We moved to the Neal Road neighborhood when I was 3, and you might be familiar with the neighborhood, and probably not for positive reasons. On the surface, Neal Road is known for its gang violence, and I can recall multiple gang shootings happening not far from my home growing up. One happened so close I could hear the gunshots loud and clear. My neighborhood was scary at times, but I quickly learned the people and the places to stay away from. And if you dig a little deeper into the neighborhood, you'll find a place that's rich in diversity. I'm proud to call Neal Road my home, and the people I've met there are kind and compassionate. Our differences never stopped me and my friends and my neighbors from inviting me into their homes and their lives. They welcome me as part of their family, and some of my friends have huge ones, including moms, dads, uncles, aunts, kids, grandparents, everyone, all living in the same roof. And since I grew up with just me and my mom, it was great to be part of their big family dinners and learn about their cultures and their traditions. I was the minority in my neighborhood, but I never felt like an outsider. I never felt judged by my skin color, my hairstyle, or the clothes I wore. The kids in my neighborhood were my brothers. We went to school together, we played soccer together, and we hung out together. My experiences in my neighborhood have made my life so much fuller, and I can't imagine growing up anywhere else. When I turned 4, my mom enrolled me in school so she could attend a community college while she worked full-time. School was difficult for me at such a young age. I got bored quickly, and I found socializing difficult because I was younger than everyone. So my mom decided that I wasn't ready. We found a program called the Boys and Girls Club, and you can't join until you're 6, which proved quite the problem since I was still 4. I'm not too sure how it happened, but let's just say I was 6 for 2 years in a row. Like a lot of the kids I know, I didn't have a father figure in my life. It's a common story, but it didn't make it any less difficult for me. My example for a male adult was my father, who didn't seem to care much about me or my mom, or anyone really but himself. And because of this, I had a hard time bonding with men. But my mom was a positive female role model, so I responded very well to other women in my life. But I didn't want to listen to any guys. I had very bad attitude towards them, and I didn't want to open myself up and get hurt again. When I first saw Marquise Hatcher, I made my own quick assessment. This is another guy in a position to tell me what to do. He was the site coordinator at the Neal Road Boys and Girls Club, and in our first moments together, I wasn't optimistic. But after spending a little time with him, I noticed something different. Marquise was nice, he was caring, and he was genuine. He wasn't like the other guys who had come and gone from my life. And over time, Marquise and I formed a bond. In elementary school, I didn't have a way to get to the club when my mom was at work. So Marquise would take one of the big 30-passenger shuttle buses and pick me up. It was just me on that great big bus. On the drive back, Marquise would ask me about my day. We talked about the kids I hung out with, the, sorry, the kids I hung out with, the choices I made, and the trouble I got into. He celebrated with me when I did well, but he challenged me when I did wrong. Marquise would tell me to be kind is more important than to be right. This is a quote that stuck with me my whole life, and I still use it to this day. I never argued with him, and I never gave him a bad attitude because I knew Marquise cared about me. I wanted his input, and I wanted to make him proud. Marquise was the first father figure I had in my life, and we had different skin colors and we had different backgrounds, but it didn't matter. I chose to get to know the real Marquise past his appearance and my own judgments, and his influences truly changed my life. As I attended the club more often, I met more of the staff there. Ms. Valentina has been at the club since it first opened, and she's still there to this day. When I first met her, her and her family had just moved to Reno from Mexico. She was the first person who I met who didn't speak any English, and I mean none. I was only 5 at the time, so let's be honest, my English wasn't that great either. So we learned it together. I taught her new words and I helped her as I learned. She taught me Spanish along the way too, and Ms. Valentina and her family were some of the first Hispanic people I got to meet in my neighborhood. And even today, we're still teaching each other and we're still growing together. It's amazing how a young boy could connect with others so different from him. Our skin colors, our cultures, and our languages are all different, but Marquise and Ms. Valentina are some of the most influential people from my young life. Going to the Boys and Girls Club became my everyday routine. Every day after school, I did my work at the club, and Marquise would check it. He wouldn't let me do anything until it was done right. This was a great burden off my mom's shoulders because we got to enjoy the little time we had together without arguing over homework. At the Boys and Girls Club, I was a member of the Torch Club, and I got to run the snack shack. I went through Passport to Manhood, and it taught me about growing up and becoming a man. But my favorite thing to do was play sports. It was through the club that I discovered activities like baseball and soccer. Playing sports was a way for me to connect with others, and making friends didn't always come easily. I realized the passion I had for them. I was a shy and I was a timid kid, and it was mainly because of my size. But I loved being a part of a team. When we played a sport, any differences we had faded away. It didn't matter what we looked like, who our families were, or where we were from. All that mattered was the game. At the start of my 4th summer at the club, a new staff came to my site. His name was DeMarcus Trayon Montgomery, but we all call him Trey. This is another guy in a position to tell me what to do. But then I realized what Marquise taught me when I was younger, and I didn't want to make the same mistake. We discovered we both loved baseball, and every day at lunch, Trey would bring me outside and would work on baseball with me. He taught me new techniques, and he helped me excel, and I became one of the top prospects in the state for a while. I made several different all-star teams, and I loved baseball more than anything at the time. But over time, my connection with Trey went deeper than baseball. He recognized the drive and the dedication I had, and he encouraged me to apply those skills in my everyday life. I respected Trey, and I took his advice to heart, just like the quotes Marquise gave me when I was 5. My grades at school started to improve, I tried new sports, and I stepped outside of my box. Because of Trey's influence, I became a more well-rounded person, and you might have guessed Trey didn't look much like me either. But I was happy to invite him into my life. And it was in the 5th grade I had the chance to really step outside my box. Sports had always been my passion, but my teachers put me in a music class. They were talking about these instruments called like violins and violas and basses. I didn't know what they were. That night, me and my mom went home and we looked them up. We saw one called a cello, and I thought it had a pretty cool look to it, so it's what I picked. Even though music was brand new for me, my mom taught me to excel in what I do, and she taught me to try my hardest in everything that I did. Marquise and Trey reinforced this concept for me, and that's how I excelled in sports, and music wasn't any different. It became my favorite subject in school, and today I'm first chairing Galena's Chamber Orchestra. It's one of the top ones in the state, and only 13 students can make it each year. I've played with Reno's youth orchestra twice. I made Nevada's all-state performance, and I was invited to join Reno's honor orchestra. And with each new challenge and accomplishment, Trey and Marquise's influence were strong in my life. They taught me that I could believe that they taught me to believe in what I set myself to and that I could accomplish anything. And through it all, my mom was always right beside me. Mom, thank you so much for being the positive role model I needed in my life. Thank you for always being there for me, and thank you for never leaving. You encouraged me to be my best, and you encouraged me to set my mind to whatever I wanted to. You told me to excel in what I wanted to do, and you pushed me to be my best every day of my life. And now that I'm a senior at Galena, I'm still active at Neil Road. I was a peer leader for the My Path program, and I get to teach teens good money management habits. I went to a career fair, and I learned about different career opportunities, but my most important role is in LIT. I'm one of only 6 school year LITs, and I earn a paycheck. And I volunteered over 800 hours at the club. I use the money I earn to help save for college and buy things that me and my mom can't normally afford. And as an LIT, I get to work with the kids from my neighborhood. And as you'd expect, they're a diverse group of kids, but they're not all that different from me. I help them with their homework when they aren't, I help them with their homework and I make sure it's done right before they do anything. And I challenge them when they make bad choices, but I celebrate with them when they do well. I play soccer with them every day, and I teach them new skills and techniques, and I help them excel. I celebrate with them when they do well, and I hold them accountable when they make bad choices. And I know what it's like to be in their shoes and to live in their neighborhood. And I know what it's like to need a positive extra role model in your life. Now take one more look at me. I was born to a teen mom. I grew up in a mostly Hispanic neighborhood, playing soccer with all the neighborhood kids. But I'm an accomplished cellist, I'm a talented sports athlete, and I spend almost every afternoon mentoring young kids. I'll be the first person in my family to graduate from a university, and I plan to become an engineer. I bet you didn't guess all that at first glance. Being a part of the Boys and Girls Club and mentoring young kids is a true blessing, and you might hear other people call the Boys and Girls Club childish or boring or lame, but you'll hear me call it life-changing, and you'll hear me call it home. Thank you.